there, viewers, and welcome to the first OnSide SA soccer show of the year. I hope you had a great festive period. And joining me shortly from his Fulham studio in the UK is our regular correspondent, Stevie Braham. But in the studio with me this morning is our Manning Rangers League winner and regular super sub, Gavin Radford. Gav?
Morning, Bunch. Happy New Year to all the viewers and to all the punters. I hope you have a better year. I don't see much changing in the United camp, but we live in hope.
Well, the less said about United, the better. We kick off as always with our post-net last one standing competition. And we have a winner of the first competition. Dean Grove rightly picked Liverpool, who thumped West Ham 5-0. While our runner-up Tracy Anderson unfortunately found Chelsea, who never turned up when losing 2-0 at Ipswich. Congratulations to Dean. Anfield awaits. On to our second competition. Heading into week 9, we had 3 entries left. Tracy Anderson was successful when Man City beat Leicester City. Joe Soma also sneaked in when Crystal Palace came from behind to win at home against Southampton. But our unfortunate soul was our post-net Superman, Lance Whiteford, who was going to become the first guy to win 2 championships, who unfortunately was on Tottenham. He conceded an injury time when drawing 2-2 against Wolves. Tracy and Joe, 12 o'clock Saturday is kickoff, and as always, get studying. Stevie B, good morning. How was your new year?
Good morning, Happy New Year.
Yep. Nice weather down there for the new year. It looked quite blustery on the TV, yeah?
It has been. Well, it's too windy, but further up north, I think they're going to have a few days of snow by the sounds of it. So,
yeah, speaking to my mates up there, they weren't too happy when they start calling games off up north. You know, the weather isn't too great. There was one game last night in the Premiership. Arsenal came from behind to win 3-1. Steve, does that give them a shot to close the gap on Liverpool?
Yeah, I think so. I think they have to believe that they can. Obviously, they sort of drew one or two recently, but 6 points behind. Liverpool have that game in hand. You know, it's still advantage Liverpool, but Arsenal have to believe, even without Saka, they got some good young players, and they had a sort of purple patch just before and just after half time. And that's, Brentford is somewhere where they've been before and lost, so I think Arteta will be quite pleased with that performance.
What do you think, Gav?
Yeah, Arsenal good side, Budge. I think they had a good team talk at half time, and they came out firing. You could just see they just stepped it up a notch. I think they'll go close. We want them to go close with Liverpool. Otherwise, Liverpool are just going to walk it and be over by the time we get to February. So Arsenal on a good side.
Yeah, as long as their back four continue to play well, and the goalkeeper's had a fairly good season by the goal last night. So let's hope it does, because the last thing you want to do, even though my numerous Liverpool fans will disagree with me, we do want a title race. Anyway, on to the weekend. We've had plenty of games, but the first game up, and Paul is back, so I can't ask him for information. Tottenham against Newcastle, Steve. It's 12-10 Newcastle, a good price.
Well, if you look at the way they've been playing in recent weeks, and they've been winning comfortably as well, they seem to have hit their straps, and they were struggling up until about a month ago. Tottenham, look, you're fairly sure there are going to be goals in this game, but you're not sure which way, because Tottenham just can't seem to hang on to a lead and conceding goals at an alarming rate. So, I think for me, this could be like a 2-2. I can't see Newcastle losing. The way they attack teams, and certainly the way they attacked Old Trafford the other night, you can see them scoring at Tottenham.
Gav?
Yeah, I thought Newcastle hit a purple patch about 5 weeks ago, and then they've just continued with the momentum. So, 12-10 looks like a nice price. But going to Spurs is never an easy game. I would probably go both teams to score in a game like this. I think that's the bet in this game. Because you would think Spurs are going to give them a game, but I'm not convinced Spurs will win the game. So for me, both teams to score. Yeah,
unfortunately it was 4-10 or 5-10, both teams score. I got a little bit greedy. I went over 3.5 goals at 9-10. I just think Newcastle are going to destroy them. The only concern I've got for Newcastle is they do play in the League Cup semi-final. I think they're home to Arsenal or away to Arsenal on Tuesday. So they've had a busy schedule, so they may rotate a few players. But they're going well in 5th place, looking great for a top 4 spot. But 12-10 Newcastle, Worth an interest. Aston Villa, Leicester, Steve. Good things, Aston Villa?
Look, they should be. I mean, they won over at Leicester a little short while ago.
Yeah.
Leicester, a little bit disappointing still under Rude. Obviously, they had that sort of win against West Ham, but other than that, Villa, conceded late. I think that they should be too strong. Obviously, without John Duran, we know that he's out for the 3 games and possibly longer. He's been charged by the FA for improper conduct after the way that he reacted after being sent off the other day. So Watkins will be back and lead the line. I think I'd be surprised if Villa don't win this, though.
Yeah, I've got to agree. Gav?
Yeah, I think it's one of the best bets of the weekend, Villa. I disagree with the red card, by the way. I don't think it was a red card. Even though his foot did come down on the guy's back, I mean, everything comes down to earth. So I don't think it was a red card. But Villa too strong. If you look at the log table, 9th versus 19th, and Leicester have lost all their games, the last 4 games away from home. So I can't see them getting anything from this game. I think Villa a good bet.
Yeah, I've got to agree. But I was impressed with the way Leicester played against Man City. A little bit unlucky to lose 2-0. If Vardy had been the old Vardy, he would have put his head in and made it 1-1. I think they'll score. So my suggestion is Aston Villa to win, both teams to score yes at 18-10. That'll have my money. Big game on Saturday, Bournemouth-Everton. Steve, how do you see it?
No, I mean, I saw Bournemouth the other day at Fulham, and they played nice football and probably just about deserved a draw at the end. Everton have made themselves hard to beat. If you look at their results, recently, I know they lost against Forest, but held Chelsea, drew at Arsenal. I think that they're going to try and keep it tight. I can't see them winning at Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth are a decent side and play some good football, but I mean, it's possible they could hold them.
Gav, how do you see it?
Bournemouth are one of these teams, but I never took much notice of them in the league table, thinking that they're a bottom 4-5 team. But the way they've been playing lately, I mean, they pass the ball around really well. The manager's done a good job there. He's got them playing together. Everton, I think, are going to struggle away from home at Bournemouth. I'm leaning towards Bournemouth to win this game. But I know Everton are a little bit hard to beat at the moment. I mean, they're taking some good draws off some big teams, but they just don't convince me that they can win away from home.
Yeah, I think Bournemouth have got to take the game by the scruff of the neck early on. The one thing about Everton, they give nothing away and they're dangerous from set pieces. Notts Forest are just a better Everton. They've got better players. It's the same style. Bournemouth play this nice football. At home, I worry because their pitch is nice and tight. Away from home on the bigger pitches, their skillful players turn up. This wouldn't surprise me if it ended in a draw. My suggestion, though, at even money is under 2.5 goals. Everton don't give much away, and Pickford's playing great at the moment. So 8-10 Bournemouth, great chance, but I think the draw at 29-10, is the value. Steve, Chelsea took away Tracy Anderson's chance of winning, last one standing. Do you see them rebounding at Crystal Palace?
Well, I don't think anyone would have seen, Chelsea dropping all these points over the holidays. I mean, they picked up 1 from 3 games.
Yeah.
I was really surprised with that performance. Obviously, Ipswich had run Arsenal close without really creating, but Chelsea really didn't turn up at Portman Road. So, if they feel that they want to be contenders at least for a top 4 place, they've got to go to Selhurst Park and get a result. Otherwise you just sort of wonder what Maresca's doing. So I'd be surprised if they don't get a result there, but you're not sure with Palace. They're making themselves a little bit harder to beat at the moment, and Eze is back.
Yeah.
So I can see possibly holding them, but I think Chelsea away is still I think the other night at Ipswich was a bit of a blip. They had a lot of chances, didn't take them, but I think if Cole Palmer's on target, I think they'll win.
9-10, Gav.
Well, let me just first say, Tracy, I feel for you because I had a nice big bet on Chelsea as well. Yeah. I couldn't believe the performance. I mean, they had chances to win the game, but it just didn't fall for them. Tough game for them going to Palace. I mean, Palace are a nice team. They don't give much away. They've been a bit unlucky. They had a couple of injuries. 29-10, big price, but you would think Chelsea, they picked up 1 point out of 9. There's something that's gone wrong in the team all of a sudden. I don't know if he's just changed 1 or 2 players up front. I'm not convinced about Jackson, even though he scored a few goals. He came on late in the game.
Yeah.
This is a tight game. I'm actually leaning towards the draw, 29-10.
Yeah, I think this would be feisty if it's 5.5 bookings at 11-10. If it was 4.5, I'd lump on, but it's 5.5. As I say, I agree. The only thing about Chelsea is they've had their cocker hoop spell. Now it's reality check. You want to be top 4, you got to go here, but this won't be easy. I think this has got score draw written all over it. I think the odds were about 7-2, both teams to score and the draw, so that would be my suggestion. Steve, Man City too good for West Ham?
Oh yeah, you would think so. If you look at the way that West Ham's defence sort of literally crumbled against Liverpool, and you think City obviously sort of should be buoyed by sort of getting a result last week at Leicester, I think City will be too strong for them. And especially as West Ham are now without Bowen as well as Antonio up front. Bowen broken a bone in his foot, could be out a couple of months. So I'd be really shocked if Man City don't win that comfortably.
Yeah, and I agree with Steve. A big loss to them, Jared Bowen getting injured. He's going to be out for a good couple of weeks. Toothless, West Ham. Absolutely toothless. No heart, not playing with any passion. Man City, I think this is one of those games they can build on their confidence to get back to where they normally are. I can't see Man City losing. I can see them scoring 2 or 3 goals in this game too.
Yeah, I've got to agree. If it wasn't West Ham, I think both teams to score would be a certainty. I watched Man City the last few weeks and they've lost it in the middle of the park. Their legs are gone. I know I ran a few comrades and I know when your legs go, it's hard to come back. Leicester were unlucky. They had several chances in the second half to equalise. The service to Haaland isn't the greatest anymore. And I think they've got to refresh. They've got to play a couple of youngsters. But 1-3 to beat West Ham, if you put them in your multiples, I wouldn't disagree. But I wouldn't get carried away with Man City. Next game we've got Southampton-Brentford. Steve, I've got a strong take on this. But what do you think?
Well, look, I mean, you've got a team who are rock bottom, can't buy a win, against a team who away have drawn 2 and lost 7.
Yeah.
On paper you think it could be close, but Brentford's forward line should be too strong for Southampton's defence. Obviously, under a new manager, you'd think things would change. They haven't really changed. They've had a couple of defeats since he's got there. I think I'd be surprised if Brentford don't pick something up, don't get something.
Yeah.
No, I agree again. I think Brentford will win this game. Southampton lay on confidence. When you're stuck in the bottom, it's hard to get out of there, and you just got a feel for them. But Brentford too good. I mean, the strike force will be too good. I mean, they were unlucky last night against Arsenal at times. They took the lead, and I think if they take the lead against Southampton, I can't see them coming back and winning the game. I mean, they've lost all 4 of their last 4 home games. So I'm leaning towards Brentford. There could be a good price, 15-10.
Yeah, I'm already on. One thing I know about Brentford, their home record was the best in the league. I don't know if it still is now. That's because they played all the teams in the bottom 10. Away from home, they played all the teams in the top 10. Their last away game that I watched was at Brighton. And I don't know how that goal got disallowed in the first half. But they drew with Brighton. Maybe a little bit fortunate, but playing a Southampton team who I think, Steve, they've just started to defend a bit better, but they're toothless in attack. And I'm all over Brentford. I think 15-10 is a great price. I think the stats are all wrong. When you have a look, all the teams they've lost to away from home, 15-10, guys, get on. Big game, Brighton-Arsenal. Steve, Brighton always play better against the upper sides. Can they cause an upset?
I mean, they can, but I'm not sure they will. If you look at their results recently, they've drawn a few. They haven't been winning. And I think Arsenal, again, they've had a couple of good wins away, sort of winning at Palace, winning at Brentford. I think they'll go to Brighton. I think they'll look at that. Brighton have started conceding goals. I mean, they're capable of scoring, but they've got a few injuries out. And I think Arsenal will go there. I think they'll just be a little bit too strong. I think there'll be goals, but I fancy Arsenal to come out on top.
8-10, Gav?
Yeah, it looks like a very good price, 8-10. When you're looking at the form Arsenal are in, I mean, you're looking at multiples of 2 1-3s into an 8-10, makes a nice little treble for yourself.
Yeah.
But Arsenal, I mean, they're a team full of confidence. The manager doesn't give you a second to think. You have to play his style. He's on you. Brighton, hard to beat at their home ground. But Arsenal, you just keep coming back. They will win this game. They will find a way to win it deep in the game. But Brighton will definitely give them a game. I like Brighton because they pass the ball around nicely. They keep it tight. Our boy at the back, the captain at the back, Richard Louis Dunk, he takes no prisoners. So our boy from Arsenal. He's going to battle up front against him. He's going to get kicked around a bit. But I think Arsenal will come out on top.
Yeah, 8 to 10 is a good price. I'd rather take 8 to 10 Arsenal to score over 1.5 goals. The way Brighton play out from the back, Arsenal normally catch them. But if you remember the first game, Declan Rice got sent off and ended up 1-1. So there's a bit of a bad blood between these two. But Arsenal to win, both teams to score yes at 28 to 10 is worth considering. Steve, Fulham, Ipswich. I think Tracy's going to be on Fulham this week.
Well, look, I mean,
pressure on.
We're unbeaten in 7, but we've drawn a lot, and this is a game that we should be looking to win. But Ipswich, those are pretty big odds for a team that have just beaten Chelsea. Almost held Arsenal. Yeah. They've got two. For me, Ipswich. I think their problem is defence, but up front they've got Liam Delap and Amari Hutchinson, who both scored the other night. Great young players. I don't think they'll stay at Ipswich if Ipswich go down. But this is a game that Fulham have to win if they want to sort of keep that top 10 place going. And I'd be surprised if we don't win. But Ipswich. I think that beating Chelsea is going to give them some confidence. I thought that when they lost to Newcastle, I thought, that's going to be it for them. Yeah. And they've come back and put in a couple of sort of credible performances.
Yeah, Gav?
Yeah, I've been all over Fulham the last couple of weeks, but they've let me down with their draws. Ipswich, I haven't seen a striker like Gallop for a long time, since the old Joe Jordan type players get stuck into you. But Ipswich don't do it for me, Budge. I think Chelsea had a bit of an off day. They had a lot of chances to win the game, but Ipswich took their two and won it. I'm not convinced with Ipswich. I think Fulham will win this game. I'm going to make them one of my best bets again this week.
Yeah, I've got to fancy Fulham. Fulham to win. I think over 2.5 goals is certainty at 12 to 10. Fulham to win, both teams to score is 22 to 10. But Steve, I think 18 to 10 over 3.5 goals. You guys are capable of scoring. Ipswich have to go for it. I like the way they play. I think there's plenty of goals, Steve, but I think you'll end up with a positive result. The game I'm not looking forward to. Hey, you like my comment? All right. Steve, the game I'm not looking forward to, and I don't know if I'll be watching it, Liverpool, Man United. I've got a great bet on this. I hate to say it, but no confidence in United. Please give me some.
I think it's very difficult to. I mean, they started to play a bit in the second half against Newcastle, but the game was done. In all honesty, the way they capitulated early. Look, it's hard to see anything other than a very convincing Liverpool win. Yeah. If there's one team that Liverpool, want to put to the sword, as they did a couple of years ago with that 7-0, it's United. I think you'd hope that United are going to show some passion. But you just can't see. They haven't got the legs in midfield. The forward line Liverpool have got and the way that they're playing, it's hard to see anything other than a convincing home win.
Yeah, Gav.
I think I'm going to start being mourning from today when I heard the fixture come out for Sunday. I just don't see us getting anything from this game. I can't see us scoring. I can't see us creating anything. I think Liverpool should be thinking he has an easy 3 points. You've never seen a Man United Liverpool game be a 10-1, 1-4 game. Yeah. They're always 15-10, 18-10 the draw. 10-1 United you can get from any bookmaker you're looking around town. I mean, that's how bad United are. Yeah. So I'm probably going to go Liverpool by 2.5 to 3 goals. Yeah. I can't see them not scoring that many.
I think Amarim's broken the change room with his talk. I know you want to get rid of players, but the last thing you must do is come in and have a go about you're going to clear the change room. Because they've broken the spirit. The players are going through the motions. And I would love to say, if you sat in that squad and you say, who wants to play on the weekend? Put your hand up. I don't think there would be many hands going up. Over 2.5 goals, both teams to score, no. It's 3-1. That's Liverpool to win 3-0 or 4-0. My money's already on. I can't have Man United. Another Harry Maguire scoring with a header from a set piece or a corner. I think this is going to be a tough evening for Man United followers. On to Monday, Steve. 14-10 Notts Forest. They're in great form. Everyone doubts them weekly. Surely they've got to give Wolves a smack.
Well, you'd think so, especially as Cunha is suspended for Wolves, and he's been their talisman in recent weeks. Obviously, they've come back with a couple of wins, and but Forest, 5 wins in a row. rarely, people are generally still not predicting they're going to win, but they're going to places like Everton, who sort of held Chelsea and held Arsenal, and comfortable. A lot, and they're having an amazing run. To a certain extent, with the same team as they had last year.
Yeah.
So I think it just shows that they got a good team spirit and a manager who knows sticking to his principles. I think this is going to be hard to back anything other than a Forest win. Wolves are capable of holding them, but I just think without Cunha, that he's the spark that gets things going.
Gav?
Yeah, I think we say it week in and week out. Forest score every game they play. I mean, I can't remember a game where they haven't scored. And they're in one of those rich veins where everything hits the back of the net for them. But these games are tricky. You come there full of confidence, and something goes wrong, and Wolves score a goal, being the home team, they will miss kick one, land in the top corner. I'm actually going to go against the grain. I'm going to say Wolves are going to get something from the game, and I think Wolves are going to win it.
Yeah, I think what's overlooked here is Nuno Espirito Santo. He was the guy that built Wolves. When they got promotion, he was the manager. He goes home. I hope he gets a good reception. I just think at the back they give nothing away, and without Cunha, I think they're tailor-made to score again. Spurs should have scored 4 or 5, even though Wolves had chances. For me, I know it's a Monday night game. I think it's going to be a feisty affair, but I'm on Notts Forest. On to the championship, and we had games last night, but we'll kick off with the local derby. This will be feisty. I didn't realise how much bitterness was between these two teams. Blackburn-Burnley, Steve, how do you see it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No love lost between them whatsoever. Look, Blackburn have sort of gone off the boil a little bit, although they got themselves a good point yesterday at Leeds, and I saw some of it, and they played quite well. This is Burnley again. They don't concede. They've conceded less goals than any team in all 4 divisions. They only conceded 9 goals, but scoring has been a problem.
Yeah.
They had a player sent off yesterday. I think if Blackburn score, they could hold Burnley. I think it's going to be a very close game, low scoring. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up a draw.
Yeah, I think this could be a score draw. Even money both teams to score. I watched the last game, it was on ESPN South Africa, and Blackburn had a player sent off. I was all over Burnley. I thought there were good things to win, and they ended up 1-1. I didn't realise that had a mate who I think lives in Blackburn, and he supports Burnley. He had to catch the bus or the train to Burnley, and they get bussed in, and then he went back. He said he couldn't believe what he did, but he had to do. But that's how bitterness. Apparently there's something happened in the war with the soldiers, so it's been bitter for a long time. But I don't know, Burnley don't score too often. I think this has got 1-1 written all over it. Stoke City, Steve, terrible form. 1 win in the last 11 against a team that fined Wayne Rooney and got a 2-2 draw yesterday. 5-10 Stoke looks a wrong price.
It is, although they've got themselves a new manager now, Mark Robbins. Was formally appointed yesterday. They got themselves a good point at Burnley, and from the reports they played very well and beat Sunderland the other day. So they've maybe just turning the corner. I'd be amazed if it's anything other than a Stoke win. I mean, Plymouth, although they got themselves a good point at home, but away from home, their record is as bad as anybody in the Football League. Yeah,
I know, 11 out of 30. But sometimes when you lose a manager, things rebound. I didn't know Mark Robbins had taken over. Expect Stoke, the Bet365 owners, to come back then. Next game, Swansea City, West Brom. Speaking to my Preston people, we were woeful in the first 20 minutes. We were 3-0 down, got back to 3-1, but got beat fair and square. Swansea, bad result yesterday, Steve. How do you see it going?
Very surprising result, Swansea. They played some nice football, but they really came unstuck at Portsmouth. And I heard in the first half West Brom ran riot, and the game was won. I know that it sounded like Preston played better in the second half, but
the game was over.
The game was over. I fancy West Brom. I just think they've got themselves back into a playoff place. They're turning these draws into wins, and I just got a feeling that they might just go and sneak something.
Yeah, 19-10 is a big price. The only problem with West Brom is that 1 win, 6 draws and 3 defeats in the last 10 away games. I watched them play Sheffield United, Steve. They played really well. That left-footed guy was a caretaker manager. I forget his name.
Chris Brunt.
Yeah, that's right. But at least they had a go. Previous to that, I'd watched them and they were negative. But I agree, 19-10, it's not the worst of prices. Bristol City, Derby County. Bristol City 11-10. I watched Derby County yesterday against Sheffield Wednesday. They were in the game the whole time. Sheffield Wednesday scored some screamers, and I think one will be goal of the year. Windas's goal from his own half. I think this is a lot closer than the betting suggests.
I think you're probably right. Although Bristol City be favourites at home, but but I think you're right. It's quite a sort of value bet there for Derby, but I just don't think that they'll do enough to win away from home. So they possibly get a draw, but otherwise I think Bristol just edge it.
Yeah, this will be in all my bets. Both teams to score just under 11-10. I think that's a great bet. On to the second page. Hull City versus Leeds United. Surely Leeds have got to get a result here, Steve.
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, away from home, they've been sort of turning draws into wins. Hull still struggling, really, at the end of the day. I think Leeds I'd be surprised if Leeds don't go there, keep a clean sheet and win.
Yeah, I've got a fancy. Then that's the bet. Leeds to win, both teams to score no at 12-10. That's what I'd be going. Middlesbrough, Cardiff City. I was going to back them last night, Steve, but I missed the time of the start of the bet. I didn't want to back them in play. They scored with almost the last kick of the game. Surely they've got to be too good for Cardiff City.
I would think so, although Cardiff have had a couple of sort of fairly decent results and winning at Watford, which was a shock, and holding Coventry when they were down to 10 men. But I think Borough should be too strong for them, and I think that they'll win that. Yeah,
in fifth place, couple of results, and they could be sneaking into that automatic promotion place. Norwich City, good result yesterday, beating Luton Town. Coventry City, Frank Lampard's team. A bit fortunate that I think it was Cardiff had a player sent off when drawing 1-1.
Yeah.
There should be goals in this, Steve.
I think so. I mean, Norwich have generally score at home, and I'd be surprised. Personally, I think I'd be surprised if they don't win this.
Fancy Norwich 14-10. I just Frank Lampard's teams, they score goals, so you don't know which way they go. Preston were woeful yesterday, but we rested one or two players. No excuse. I think we'll beat Oxford at home. The last few games at home, we've won the last couple against decent sides, and we should have beat Leeds at home, even though they did score last minute and deserved the point in the end. But Oxford at home, Steve, 8-10, I think is a good price.
Preston should, but Oxford have now got Gary Rowell, and they've won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
They looked as if they were in free fall, and they've come back. Had a good win yesterday at Millwall. I think that Preston should win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Oxford hold them. Just that I think on the back of the fact they've got this new manager bounce going on.
Yeah, well, fancy Oxford to score. Even money, both teams to score then is worth an interest. Sheffield Wednesday, I watched that game, Steve. They scored a lot of goals. They could have scored a few more, but Derby County hit the post and the bar when it was 1-0. I think they'll beat Millwall. They're in all my bets. Millwall, I think, are in free fall. I see the ex-Preston manager Alex Neil's gone there. He was never the most attack-minded of managers, but from what I'm seeing of Sheffield Wednesday, I think it's not a bad price.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think that's a good price, and for Wednesday. And you're right, that Josh Winder's goal was outrageous from the inside his own half.
Yeah.
So sometimes they go miles wide, but when they go in, they make the goalkeeper look fairly stupid, don't they? But I fancy Sheffield Wednesday to win that one.
Yeah, when I was watching the game, they played the ball out from the back and 1-2, and he got it. And I thought, what are you doing? And he just hit it, and what a goal. Brilliant goal. They were showing on Sky this morning some of the screamers, but that's as good as any of it that I've seen. Watford, who's seem to have dropped out the top six, definitely. Sheffield United, I watched that game against Sunderland last night, Steve. What a good game for the championship. They didn't deserve to lose. I thought they were going to equalise late on. I like Sheffield United, the two teams. Another young team. Watford at Vicarage Road's not easy, but I'm with the away team. Do you agree?
No, I think you're right, and obviously Watford had probably the best home record in the championship until they sort of had that hiccup against Cardiff. Yeah. Pretty well beaten yesterday at QPR. I think you're right. I think Sheffield United of the two should start as favourites.
Yeah, Sunderland impressive last night. Those boys, those youngsters up front, they don't stop running. I know some of the final third passing needs improving, but. Portsmouth have come right of late, Steve, even though their away form is woeful. But 5-10 Sunderland, isn't that a bit short?
It seems a bit short, but I think that based on sort of their respective league positions,
Yeah.
you know, you can understand that. But you know, I think Sunderland certainly should start as favourites.
Yeah, I'd rather take 8 to 10 over 2.5 goals, because that's one thing about Sunderland at home. They have a full goal, over 40,000. Couldn't believe it for the championship, but well done to them. Last but not least, QPR Luton Town. How do you see it?
Well, look, QPR seem to have found some form, particularly at home, and a good win yesterday. Luton Town supposedly played quite well, but beaten at home. But away from home, I think it's 7 defeats in a row, and it's hard to see anything, you know, except a QPR home win.
Yeah, I've got to agree. I needed Luton to score at home yesterday, land a nice bet. Nearly puked when they couldn't score. But QPR, my mate Neil Horsman, twirls to all his Wanderers mates. The QPR man, he was at the game, said they won fair and square, could have scored a few more. They've won the last 4 at home, and 14 to 10 does look a good price. But Luton play on that tight pitch as well. So I think there'll be goals in this, but of the two sides, got to fancy QPR. Steve, pressure time as always. I need your best bet and value bet, please.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Sheffield Wednesday at home. I think they've just started, you know, they're scoring goals, and you know, although as I say, it was a tight game yesterday, but you know, they could have had more than the 4. Millwall just seem to have gone off the boil totally. So to me, Wednesday and away, I'm going to go for West Brom. I just think they're turning these draws into wins, and you know, they got themselves comfortably back into a playoff place. And I think this is a game they could go and get a result.
Yeah, I totally agree on Sheffield Wednesday. I went Brentford, Steve. But anyway, okay. Steve, thanks again as always, and we'll speak over the weekend.
Cheers, Steve.
Absolutely.
All the best.
Cheers,
Steve.
bye, Gav.
Regular UK correspondent Stevie Braham. Gav, PSL. Unfortunately, the top teams are playing in the CAF. You know, Sundowns and Pirates are playing, and Stellenbosch in the CAF Confederations. But we do have 5 games. Amazulu Golden Arrows.
But I was all over Amazulu last week. I thought 5-2 was a huge price. They did turn their form around a little bit, and I'm tipping them to win this game against Arrows.
Yeah.
I think they maybe got the formula right now. Their form has picked up a bit.
Yeah, Arthur Zwani, ex-Chiefs man, doing a good job. They went to Cape Town and beat Cape Town City 1-0. Most Durban teams over the years have never got a result here. When I was at Durban City, we are lucky to get a point.
Always a battle. Always a battle in Cape Town.
But a fancy Amazulu. The games at Moses Mabhida. I backed Golden Arrows last week. They drew 0-0 with Polokwane, but I thought they'd win that. But local derbies are always tight, but of the two sides, got a fancy Usotu. TS Galaxy, home against Magezi. Game in Nelspruit. I know Magezi's not too far from there. 8 to 10, Gav?
Yeah, I feel for Magezi. They had to play a centre-off against Pirates, and they were in the game for a long period. I'm actually tipping a draw here. I think under 2.5 goals, whichever way you want to go. But TS Galaxy should come out on top.
Yeah.
Magezi, I think they've lost 7-8 in a row of their league games. I don't know if they've got a coach back into the team now since Clinton has left. Yeah. But I would think Galaxy would win it, but under 2.5 goals.
Yeah. Galaxy came to Maritzburg, got a good result, beating Royal AM 3-1. Got a fancy 8 to 10 Galaxy, but Magezi, you never know. They'll keep it tight. My suggestion there is 0-0 at like just under 7 to 1. So tight game, under 2.5 goals is 4 to 10. So I'd rather take the 0-0 shot. Maruma Gallets, Richards Bay at 17 to 10. Richards Bay, I don't know how the 1-0 won. How do you see it?
Seller, my boy Dan. I think he'll get a result here. I think Richards Bay a long way for them to travel. Yeah. I think Maruma Gallants on form at the moment. I think they'll win this game. They've won 2, drawn 1, lost 1 of their last 4 home games. Yeah. Where Richards Bay have lost 3 of their 4. So I'm leaning towards Maruma Gallants. I think it's a nice price, 16 to 10.
Yeah, you're right. Game in Bloemfontein. The problem I've got with Richards Bay, I've watched them a couple of times. They played 13 league games and scored 4 goals. You know, it's hard to back a team any confidence. So Maruma Gallants score, they should win. Polokwane against Sekakuna. You know, I think this will be a good game. Polokwane third, going well.
No, nice team budget. I think Polokwane win this game 14 to 10. Could be a nice double with Maruma Gallants. Sekakuni, not bad. They score goals. Yeah. But Polokwane, for me, they fire away. Yeah. They score some great goals, this team. They never stop running. I'm going to go with the home team, Polokwane.
Sundowns and Chiefs at home, so Sekakuna, beware. And talking about the mighty Kaizer Chiefs, Amakosi for life, 2 to 1 to win in Cape Town.
Sure, but this is a huge price. If that's 2 to 1, I think you should be all over it. I think they've had a tough year,
Yeah.
Chiefs. I think they got a result last week, winning. They're not anywhere near of their past glory days.
Yeah.
But Cape Town's City team that's lost their manager, Eric Tinkler, has been fired. I don't know who's going to step into the hot seat in short notice. But I would think Chiefs will come there with a big crowd,
Yeah.
and they'll be demanding a win. I think the pressure will get to. I think 2-1's a huge price. I'll be all over the 2-1.
Yeah, I've got a fancy Chiefs too. As you say, you just never know with the manager bounce factor. I always rated Eric Tinkler. I think he's top notch. Something must have gone wrong. But 2-1 Kaiser Chiefs, that's definitely worth an interest. On to the soccer exotics for Saturday. And we start with the soccer six. I'm bankering Newcastle United to win at Tottenham Hotspur. I've thrown the draw in. Amazulu at home to Golden Arrows and TS Galaxy at home to Magezi. The field in the Serie A clash between Venezia and Empoli. I'm bankering Orlando Pirates to beat Stade d'Abidjan, the Ivory Coast team in the CAF Champions League. And the field, I'm looking for the upset in the Maroon Magallans Richards Bay clash. 2-1-6. On to the second soccer six, I'm bankering Aston Villa to beat Leicester City. The field in the Bournemouth Everton and Crystal Palace Chelsea, looking for upsets. Bankering Man City to beat West Ham. The field in the Norwich City Coventry City game. And bankering Brentford to beat Southampton, 162. On to the soccer 10, Amazulu win and draw at home against Golden Arrows. TS Galaxy win and draw at home against Magezi. Venezia win and draw at home against Empoli. Bankering Aston Villa to beat Leicester. The field in the Bournemouth versus Everton fixture. The second page in League One, I'm going Charlton Athletic win and draw at home against Reading. The field in the Crystal Palace versus Chelsea game, ending up with three bankers. Leeds to win at Hull City, Man City to beat West Ham, and Brentford to beat Southampton, 288. On to the soccer 13, going Arsenal win and draw at Brighton. The field in the Crystal Palace versus Chelsea match. Two bankers, Man City to beat West Ham, Aston Villa to beat Leicester. Going Bournemouth win and draw at home against Everton. Chancing Brentford to win at Southampton. Throwing the draw in with Bristol City at home against Derby County. On to the second page, going for Leeds United to win at Hull City. Middlesbrough to be too strong at home for Cardiff City. The field in the Norwich City versus Coventry game. Preston North End to be too strong at home against Oxford United. And Sheffield Wednesday to be too good for Millwall. And ending up with Sheffield United win and draw against Watford, 288. On to our budgies bets for the weekend. I'm going over 3.5 goals in the Tottenham Newcastle match. Brentford to be too good for Southampton, and Fulham to win and both teams to score against Ipswich Town, 2,700 to 200. My team goals only sides, I'm going Arsenal, Brentford, Fulham and Notts Forest, all to score over 1.5 goals or a minimum of 2, 2,400 to 200. On to the championship, I'm going Preston to beat Oxford United, Sheffield Wednesday to beat Millwall, and over 2.5 goals, Hull Leeds United, and under 2.5 goals, make note of that, Watford versus Sheffield United, 2,600 to 200. Our both teams to score sides are Blackburn Burnley, Norwich Coventry City, Swansea West Brom, and QPR Luton Town, 2,400 to 200. No Spain, so we're going to Italy. I'm going Napoli to beat Fiorentina and Torino to beat Parma, and both teams to score. Hellas Verona Udinese and Roma Lazio, the Rome derby, 2,800 to 200. And our Collis King, 6 or Nixa. I'm going Aston Villa to beat Leicester, Brentford to beat Southampton, Fulham to beat Ipswich Town, Liverpool to beat Man United, Leeds United to beat Hull, and Leyton Orient in League One to beat Shrewsbury, 3,300 to 200. Gav, you've never been shy for a bet?
But I think I only have 2 doubles this weekend. I think I'm going to go with Middlesbrough to win with Bristol City. Yep. And then locally, I'm going to go Maroon Magallans and Kaiser Chiefs. I think it's just 2 huge prices. Definitely going to get onto that double.
Prices always fluctuate, so you fancy them, get on early. To everyone, take care, and I hope you have a great 2025. And please remember to stay on side.